if I may, Mr. Tambe, firstly, very amazing presentation, like a lot of knowledge compiled into a very short time space. I loved it, and hopefully I have to listen to the recording again to catch some of these points because it was a bit fast. But yeah, it's really good, right? My question is, it's not a question per se, but what are your observations about insurance in medical, like health insurance space? Do you have any observations in the blockchain context, if that is something you would like to share? Yeah.
Uh, a, a particular paper by me is where I'm one of the authors is supposed to be published soon by one particular government organization. So it is in the pipeline, which kind of gives my views in detail about how blockchains can influence healthcare. The most important thing is that in healthcare, the data is, getting the permission. There are some people who have the data. The data about patients is spread out in different places, and in order to be able to get that data and provide service, you can use expertise from different places, right? So there are two aspects: the data is distributed and the expertise is distributed. And in the healthcare value chain, the ability to, and there are various regulations governing who can use these data. So so they all blockchain, without blockchains, it is going to be very difficult to manage, to enable patients to control their distributed data and contract with various people who are distributed in legally compliant manner, visible to the regulator, and enter into contracts through which they can derive healthcare services, whether it is in individual regions or whether it is across regulatory regions. That's the primary use case, I would say. And of course, IoT and so on, there are a huge amount of applications that of blockchains and IoT.
Yes. So if you were to, for a very newbie like me, who works in the healthcare space, not necessarily with technologies per se, you know what I mean, on a clinical trial basis or something like that. If I were to implement a blockchain solution or prototype a blockchain solution, right? Where should I start? Like, I know this is a very fundamental question, but what is your opinion? What is step one, right? Like, if I may ask you this way.
So, see, there are various areas in which blockchain can be applied in healthcare. But I think the most important application is, enabling people to gain control over their data. Enabling the flow of data and that contractual permission. Whether it is under GDPR or whether in a healthcare provision rules or whatever. That there's some people regulatory permissions. So the example I would suggest is, if there is somebody in Pune, India, who wants to use from somebody expert from Maryland, USA, regarding some data, and the reports are going to come from the data is going to be analyzed and reported by a laboratory in China. These kind of scenarios, to enable, and increasingly expertise is going to be very diverse and distributed. It's not going to be easy to bring that expertise to one location, to co-locate all that experience. So the party which is controlling the access to the customer becomes the most important party. That party has to acquire all these capabilities. So that's where I would, how can you equip parties who have the primary control over the customer, who are the first point of contact for the partner, for the patient, to orchestrate the rest of the healthcare ecosystem to matter at that point of care. That's where I would suggest
to start it. Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you so much. Very nice again. Thank you for your sharing. Thank you.
Hi, sir. I have a question. May I?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thanks a lot. First of all, thanks for the presentation. It was really nice and knowledgeable. So I've been working on this blockchain from past 5+ years, and I've been working on various verticals, be it education. We've done something for education, land registration, even healthcare we were doing. So the pattern which I found was the adaptation was pretty much slow because the value from blockchain comes from its network, and people don't actually want to be the participant. Reason being, they seems that it is the foundational technology, and it might actually change the way how they are storing the data. Okay, so like I said, like you were discussing about the clinical trials, this is the first node of where you are getting the data. If you'll take the data right into the blockchain, then obviously your results will be right. But problem we faced was that they were not willing to share the data because that might deflect the patterns or something like that. So this is where we are getting stuck. Adaptation, because they seems that the foundational technology, my foundation might change. So how should we, like, shall we initiate or try to change their existing system, or we should create a parallel something, let's say a parallel road, so that their existing system is not compromised, or and then they can shift to blockchain maybe down the line after 5 years or so. Like, so what is the trick to just exactly moving ahead from POCs to the productions and getting the best out of it?
See, moving from POCs to production, especially in regulated industries, will where basically these kind of very sensitive and such data is concerned, you have to work closely with regulators. You have to be make sure the compliance needs are uh, properly addressed, and slowly increase scope. So you do one POC for some use case which has business value and which you can deliver in a compliant manner and actually gain some revenue, and then basically slowly expand that in functionality. I don't know, or I don't think a big bang approach is recommended. Start small with a strong business case and grow around it is what I would say.
Okay.
Where basically in the the in this clinical trials process, there are whole lots of processes. So don't attack the whole end-to-end process. Find a part of the process where you can use blockchain, build business opportunity, and then expand left or right.
Okay. Yeah. And there is a compliance I was reading regarding the GDPR. So it doesn't go well with blockchain. Like, they have right to forget kind of a thing. So I know they're working on it, but as of now, we do not have like every time a
No,
customer asks.
it's I see. I had attended a session by lawyers in around 4 5 years, 4 years ago probably. In that, they told there are two things, two approaches to GDP, to being GDPR compliant. One is that you encrypt the data and store it in the node database, in the node specific database, in the blockchain basically.
Yeah.
And then when the right to forget is invoked, you throw away the key.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
The second approach that is suggested is that you store the hash on the uh, blockchain, and you store the data outside the blockchain.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And when
Of,
basically the right to invoke is forget, you delete the off-chain copy.
okay.
And but in both cases, you have to pass some audit entries so that this becomes acceptable.
Yeah. So these are the hacks they have given. Even they have said that you can keep a government node as an entity in your network such that they can have a visibility of these things. But these are just the hacks provided. So are they like good to go with these things?
This was told by lawyers. This
Okay.
is what I understand. This is what I am okay with.
Fair enough. Thanks, sir. Thanks a lot.
But I'm not a legal expert, so
No,
you
no,
please
no.
take your own.
Yeah. Thanks.